All right, and we're back with another Mary Truth Talks. I am your host, Marianne, and this is the MTT Show. And Happy New Year, guys. We are back. 2026 is going to be awesome. And we are starting the year strong. So we only have 5 stories today because I think we're going to be taking your time with each of these. So before we begin, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and X, Mary, Mary_truths with an S. That's Mary_truths with an S. All right. And if you believe in wellness, not fitness, wellness, there is a difference, because I believe that fitness is very surface level and, well, superficial. And wellness is your overall well-being, meaning your mental health is also as important, I believe probably more important than your physical health. If you believe in the wellness mentality, then follow MBE on Instagram. That's MB Elevates. And to subscribe to the Mindset, join our Patreon account. Help us support the show, subscribe, like, and share. And if you truly want to support for real on a monetary level, go on Patreon and subscribe to our Patreon membership. All right, so let's get on with the show, shall we? Oh, I'm drinking whiskey today. We are drinking whiskey today. Yep. So if you're drinking, great. If you're not, well, you suck. No, I'm kidding. All right, so let's go. You got Venezuela dictator arrested. Hell yeah. I woke up today with that amazing news. I was sleeping in today, waking up at 7 in the morning. That is me sleeping in, yes. And Laz wakes me up and he's like, babe, Maduro was just caught. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, they just arrested him. And I was like, that was my alarm today. That's what woke me up. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure a lot of people were woken up by the same thing. Somali fraud exposure continues. It's now being found in Maine, in Maryland, in Washington State. It's going to be happening everywhere. Zohran Mamdani is officially our New York City mayor. And, well, I have thoughts about that. So we'll talk about it. And we're going to end it with something funny. Somali woman caught saying Elon Musk is going to die. And, well, the reaction she got wasn't probably what she expected, and we're going to react to that. So let's start with the biggest story. Venezuela dictator arrested and charged. I need to drink some whiskey. I'm losing my voice. I'm too excited today. I've been screaming all day. Let's go.
It is 8 a.m. on the East Coast, and if you are just waking up this morning, we are following breaking news. President Trump announcing the capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro overnight in a large-scale U.S. military operation.
Attorney General Mamdani confirming
Big Marco, bro. That was all Big Marco.
In New York on drug and weapons charges. The couple, quote, will soon face the full wrath of American justice.
It comes after explosions rocked the capital of Caracas and surrounding states. Early this morning, President Trump is expected to hold a news conference from Mar-a-Lago at 11 a.m.
Lucas Tomlinson joins us now from West Palm Beach, Florida, where the commander-in-chief has been spending the holidays. Hey, Lucas, what more can you tell us this morning?
Good morning, Doc. For weeks, President Trump had pledged there would be strikes ashore in Venezuela, and that's exactly what happened in the pre-dawn hours, where the National Mission Force Special Operations Forces were launched, likely from the USS Iwo Jima offshore, after the Air Department, the jets and helicopters on board had been moved to Puerto Rico. Those forces, the strike force, assaulted Maduro's compound in the pre-dawn hours after those airstrikes from U.S. military aircraft took place in Caracas around 2 in the morning, Caracas time, 1 in the morning, East Coast time. And President Trump posting to Truth Social after Maduro and his wife had left the country. I'll read it. The president posted, quote, "The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro. who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And we heard from Venezuela's leader just a day ago, guys, in a car, of a dash cam video saying he was open to a deal with President Trump. He said he would be open to combating drug trafficking. Recall for many days now, there have been increased sanctions on Maduro's regime. His regime had been called a cartel, had been sanctioned as a foreign terrorist organization.
It is a cartel.
We'd seen dozens of strikes against drug boats in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific. And then this morning at 2 in the morning, we saw this dramatic airstrikes, likely from F-22 fighter jets, stealth fighter jets. Also recall those F-35s that have been moved to Puerto Rico, likely taking part in the strikes. We saw B-1 bombers, a flight in the Caribbean just last evening. It's not clear if those also took place. We also, as you can see in the video coming up, dozens of U.S. Army helicopters, likely from the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Those are the Night Stalkers. Those are the world's most elite pilots that would have taken the strike force into Caracas to detain Nicolas Maduro. This appears from the American side to be bloodless. It appears all aircraft were able to successfully execute the mission, and all American military personnel, those elite Tier 1 forces from the Delta Force, the Ranger Regiment, and perhaps SEAL Team 6, all made it out of the country in one piece. Let's not forget, this was a showdown between President Trump and Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. And as Elliot Abrams told me a few weeks ago, there can only be one winner, and President Trump doesn't like to lose. And that's what we saw in these strikes.
That's right. America doesn't like to lose, better said.
Maduro has been looking out.
Let's go to the next one here. Oh, man. A lot of people are happy. The Venezuelans are happy. The Cubans are happy. Well, at least the Cubans that, are Trump supporters. And then there's the Marxist Cubans that are not happy about this. All right, let's watch.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do
a safe, proper, and
judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in.
Run the country.
We have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious.
I would like to know who's the one running the country. Is it going to be Marco? Marco has a lot of roles already.
Because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance if somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place.
Got it. All right, moving on.
Cool.
So we're going to run Venezuela until, I guess, the woman who actually won the election comes in. I forgot her name, but the one who got the Nobel Peace Prize and then dedicated it to Trump. Okay. Third story here. What's this about?
Kelly Meyer is here with us in studio. And Kelly, China, who is a direct ally of Venezuela, but has had close relationships with Caracas over the years, anyway, is now responding, right?
Yeah, and that was one we were watching for. We weren't sure if we were going to hear from them today, even on this. But it's interesting, too, because China is the largest importer of Venezuelan oil. And President Trump was saying that, the U.S. is going to be taking control of Venezuelan oil reserves. And this is what China had to say in reaction. We have this statement. China is deeply shocked by and strongly condemns the U.S. blatant use of force against a sovereign state and action against its president. Such homogenic acts of the U.S. seriously violate international law and Venezuela's sovereignty.
They don't violate international
laws in Latin America and the Caribbean region.
They're saints.
China firmly opposes it. We call on the U.S. to abide
by international
law and the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and stop violating other countries' sovereignty and security. We did just hear from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just this hour saying that the president is following through on what he promised on the campaign trail, saying that he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Trump explicitly promised, she says, that he would work to demolish foreign drug cartels to keep our citizens safe, and that's exactly what he did today through an unprecedented display of speed, precision, and power. And today, Hegseth praised Trump's action. I want to play a bit of what he had to say as well. Take a listen.
Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out.
And that was kind of playing on what the president had said back in October, basically warning Maduro. And he's been really broadcasting openly warnings to Maduro for quite a long time. And even just yesterday, we know that Maduro had met with a special envoy for China's President Xi Jinping just hours before this operation. Also interesting to note, Russia, we are hearing that they are also condemning this along with China.
Not surprising, right?
Exactly. And Russia also
all the
had
dictators
that
are condemning
oil tanker
this.
that the U.S. was chasing after just last week. They
I
put
wonder
it under
why.
its registry,
Maybe
so that would make it harder for
are
the U.S.
there.
to seize. Russia's also calling for that full meeting of the UN Security Council as soon as possible.
Okay, and the UN chief has...
So the UN is going to get defunded because can you look up who pays the most for the UN to even exist? Just out of curiosity, I haven't really looked this up. We're finding out live right now. We're going to find out who funds the UN the most. Let's see. Tell me. I'm curious.
We do.
Oh, really? I would have never thought. Yeah, okay. I mean, I knew, I had a feeling, but, you know, I always like to fact check, you know. I'm not trying to deceive.
So the top contributors, U.S. is 22%.
Okay.
China is second by 15%.
Well,
and
22
Japan
and
is
15
third.
is a very big difference from 22 to 15%.
Yeah, and then China's third, only 8%.
Wait, who's second?
Sorry, not China. China is second. 15%.
Okay.
Japan is third.
Japan. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna defund the United Nations because at the end of the day, they've done literally nothing since they've created the union. They've done nothing for any country really. The only thing they've done is condemn Israel and condemn. Well, they condemned, I guess, Russia and us. That's pretty much it. Mainly us. So, yeah, I don't see why we're funding a system that, at the end of the day, we mainly contribute to, and it doesn't really do anything for us. So, yeah, that's going to get defunded probably pretty soon. Especially because if they even think it's going to be a smart idea to tell the American government, who again is funded by us, the taxpayers. So I'm always going to direct it back to us. So if the United Nations dares to tell taxpayers, no, you're not allowed to remove this dictator who lost his last election by the woman who got the Nobel Peace Prize and decided to stay as the dictator, and he is sending drugs to America, and we're not allowed to remove him from office when we are being directly affected by his regime. Yeah, definitely defund the United Nations. I don't think they're going to rule against us, considering we fund the majority of their existence. But, you know, at the end of the day, United Nations is extremely communist. They're very pro depopulation, very pro globalism, very pro one world government type thing, you know. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do go against the taxpayers, but considering the financial circumstances, it wouldn't be wise for them to do so. However, I still want them to be defunded. So that's that for the UN. Now, when it comes to Venezuela, a lot of people I have a lot of libs as friends. Some I've removed for, obvious reasons. They chose politics over our friendship, and that's okay. They can do that. It's their choice. But the ones who didn't and chose to stay being my friend, they told me that they don't agree with the whole Venezuela thing, that we should just mind our own business, an isolationist mentality. And we're the most powerful country in the world. We have the largest military because we fund it. Like, even if we can't afford it, we still fund the military. So we're not really in a position to say, yeah, we're not going to get involved in geopolitics, because it's just politically ignorant to believe that we shouldn't get involved in geopolitics. Like, that's like assuming that we're the only country in the world and no other government exists except the United States government. That's just not how this works. You have to have diplomacy. You have to have international relations. You have to be geopolitically conscious. So yeah, obviously being aware of what's going on in the world is vital for domestic policy. International policy is extremely important for domestic policy. You can't choose one over the other. You have to focus on both. And in reality, you really have to focus on international policy, because depending on how it is on a global scale is how you can govern on a domestic scale. So for example, when people are saying, oh, well, why did Trump go to the Middle East and spend time with the Saudis? Like, well, maybe because they are like the biggest monopoly when it comes to oil, because they're involved with OPEC. So obviously, considering we need oil, it would be smart for our leader to go and have a relationship with them to negotiate oil prices for us, the taxpayers. The job of a president is to literally negotiate for us, because we are paying the government to exist. That is literally their job. So when oil went up during Biden's administration, is because they had zero relationship with the Saudis and the Middle East. So that's just an example as to why it's important for leaders to actually have relationships with the world, with countries that we don't coincide whatsoever, like the Chinese Communist Party, but we rely on them for a lot of things like medicine, clothes, furniture, mostly everything, unfortunately. And that became apparent during COVID. So we need to have a relationship with China, but we need to make it known to China that you need us more than we need you. That's why the whole tariffs things happened. And then with Russia, well, that's still an ongoing process. But with Venezuela has become a narco state for a long time. We have a city called Doral here in Miami where Venezuelans mainly live. And they are extremely happy about this. I mean, there's here in Miami, when you put Telemundo or you put CNN or you put MS Now or, all the liberal outlets, you're going to mainly see, if it's local news, you're going to see Venezuelans ecstatic about what happened in Venezuela. Because Venezuela was a extremely wealthy country because of their gold, because of their oil. They have different metals there. So when a leader such as Maduro, who is a Marxist communist, literally doesn't really do anything with all those resources and just puts their people into poverty, what are you supposed to do when it's in your hemisphere as a leader? If you are Donald Trump or if you are the president of the United States, doesn't it make sense to make sure that the leaders in your backyard are kind of aligned with your values? Why would it make sense to have communists in our side of the hemisphere when we're a capitalist nation? When we're a democratic capitalist nation. Democratic in the sense of we choose our leaders every 4 to 8 years. That's what I mean by democratic, because we're not a democracy, just to be clear. So when you have Colombia, who literally is a manufacturer of cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin, and then you have Maduro, who's literally shipping this, and then you have the cartels in Mexico who smuggle it into the country, yeah, we have a problem because we have a bunch of thugs living near us. So imagine we're in a nice ass neighborhood with the nicest house on the neighborhood. We got everything. We got the gate, we got the cameras, we got everything. We got the whole 9 yards, but we're living in a hood. And everybody around us is just thugs, and they're, selling prostitutes, and they're selling dope and whatever, and we're literally like in the middle of the hood, but we're the nicest house on the neighborhood. That's literally what we are right now. Because Mexico's right next to us, and it's a dump. Canada, right on top of us, and it's become a dump. And then in South and Central America, well, same thing. So I think this is just a domino effect, and it's going to end up changing the regimes of other countries. In my opinion, Colombia is next. And that's not going to be hard. Because Petro, well, he's an idiot. So he got his visa removed not too long ago for literally telling soldiers to defy the commander-in-chief. That was retarded. And then he lied on X, saying, that they removed his visa because of his freedom of speech. Like, no, they didn't. It's because of what you said. But whatever. So he's next, in my opinion. And then after that, it's Mexico. And if they can do those two within 3 years, Cuba would be the last one. And to me, Cuba is the hardest because Cuba is a hub for intelligence. If anybody doesn't know, Cuba has pretty good intelligence, which is sad because their country is a shithole. But they're not like Mossad, obviously, because they don't have the resources. But considering they don't have much resources, they're still pretty good as far as intelligence is concerned. And they use Cuba for intelligence when it comes to, trafficking, human trafficking, drug smuggling, narcos, all that jazz. Coyotes sending, immigrants across the border illegally, all that stuff. Anything that has to do with intelligence, it's in Cuba. So Cuba, because it's kind of like an intelligence agency technically right now, that to me, that would make sense for that to be the last domino to fall. But I could be wrong. At the end of the day, I don't know. I'm just a chick on the internet. But I am happy that this happened because this shows that we are, again, the greatest country in the world. We are the most powerful country in the world, and we can just literally, without boots on the ground, go into a country, remove the dictator from that country, and say, yeah, we're gonna run this country until we can transition it to an actual person who gives a crap about its people.
It's what we've always been, big brother. Exactly.
So I personally think this is amazing. Like, people and the liberals were like, oh, but I thought you wanted a peacemaker. This is what peace looks like. What do you think peace looks like? You think peace is just minding your own business? No, that's how you end up getting conquered, by minding your own business. That's how you end up becoming literally, I don't know, China 2.0. If you want to actually portray strength, you need to do actions that are going to get other countries to realize you're the big dog. You're the boss, not them. So to me, first of all, this is not a war. This was a strike, just like Iran was a strike. This is a strike. Nobody died. We didn't kill Maduro. He's here in the country. He's arrested. He's charged. And he's going to have his due process that liberals love to talk about so much. So this is a win for everybody who loves freedom, which unfortunately aren't liberals, because liberals don't like freedom. They like authoritarianism. That's why they defend, dictators. But I personally think every single immigrant who is Cuban, Nicaraguan, Venezuelan, even Mexican, who actually want freedom, yeah, you're gonna be happy about this. Again, that's just me. You tell me what you think in the comments, but I'm happy about this. And like I said, Petro, you're next. Okay, let's talk about Somali. Somali. Look at me, Somali. You know what I mean. Somali fraud is what I meant to say. All right, let's go to the first one here.
Allowed this mess to accumulate in the first place. And so
wait, hold on. This one starts at 9:45.
No, started at, that's the end.
Oh.
0.25. Go to the transcript. It's easier when you do it like that. It makes life easier.
I see it.
The operation today, posting that, quote, the American people deserve answers on how their taxpayer money is being used and arrests where abuse is found, end quote. This development comes after FBI Director Kash Patel announced yesterday that the agency has surged personnel to Minnesota to root out fraud. To date, more than 90 people have been charged in various schemes across the state. Many of them Somali Americans. News Nation has been following fraud in Minnesota very closely. We first reported on the state's troubled finances back in November. That's when current and former federal sources confirmed hundreds of millions of dollars raised by a nonprofit during the COVID pandemic for children never made it to them. Instead, some of it wound up in the hands of Al-Qaeda-linked terror groups. News Nation's Rich McHugh went to Minnesota to investigate this fraud firsthand.
Rich, this is the Sapphire restaurant in downtown Minneapolis. This is the epicenter of some of the biggest fraud and waste and abuse in this area. The owner right now is currently in jail, federal jail. This restaurant, which seats about 35, supposedly served 18,000 plus meals a day.
A day?
A day for 7 months. 18,000 plus.
That is mind-boggling. Now this DHS operation is also investigating daycares. That comes after this viral video. It came out this weekend from YouTuber Nick Shirley. He confronted workers at an alleged Somali-owned childcare center that appears to be deserted. There was no sign of activity, misspellings on the business signs, but that daycare has reportedly received $4 million in state funding. Let's go right to News Nation's Joe Khalil now, live for us in Washington. Joe, good evening. Critics are demanding accountability. What's been the response from the governor's office thus far?
Nothing.
Yeah, hey, Hannah, we have gotten a response, and it came actually after that social media video really went viral, the one with Nick Shirley. This is what Governor Tim Walz in his office has said to us in response. He says, quote, the governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and to ask the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He's strengthened oversight, including launching investigations into these specific facilities, one of which was already closed down, he says, as a result of the governor acting. So look, these reports, as you talked about, Hannah, are not new, these reports of fraud, but this new social media video seems to have shed an even brighter light on what's going on. This most recent one focusing on these child care centers that you see here on your screen. Many of them were getting hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not more, if not upwards of $1 million to each one in state taxpayer money. And you see on the video, there were actually no signs that these were legitimate child centers. You'd expect to see kids, for example, at these places. They couldn't find any children who were actually there. You didn't see any hallmarks of a child care center, things like playgrounds outside of them. Most of them were in places that look like strip malls and things like that. So this new video has brought to light something that we're now seeing the vice president respond to, the FBI director respond to, and actual real world effects. As a result of this, you're seeing the SBA, the Small Business Administration, is now temporarily pausing all federal funds going to the state of Minnesota. That is going to have an impact. That's huge. And SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler just announcing that today. You're also seeing the FBI saying they are surging resources there. And Kash Patel, the FBI director, talking about how there have already been some 78 people who've been investigated, indicted, and really prosecuted for these alleged crimes, not relating to the child care center, but other cases of fraud like Medicaid, which, by the way, we should mention, those people were prosecuted under the Biden administration's DOJ. So this goes back, Hannah, to 2021, 2022. The common denominator here, whether it was under a Biden presidency or Trump's presidency, has been that Governor Tim Walz has been in charge of the state. And for that reason, he is getting a lot of heat. Lisa DeMuth is the current House Speaker for the state of Minnesota. She's also running against Tim Walz. But this is what she said to us on our network earlier earlier this afternoon, basically saying she doesn't think that Walz has had enough accountability, at least not yet, when it comes to these several examples now of alleged fraud.
And charged.
No one has lost their job over this. Governor Walz has not held anyone accountable. So whether he's known and allowed it to go on,
well, he's definitely
or if he didn't know and was too interested in other things to not know what was going on here in the state, he is finally taking a little bit of attention now that there is national attention on what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And while she was speaking, you saw there on your screen also that there were ICE agents there. Henna, we heard Kristi Noem say that the reason that DHS is now sort of enhancing its presence in Minnesota is because of the fraud situation. So again, a lot of serious real world effects as a result seemingly of this new video on social media over the weekend. We should also mention Tim Walz. He is running for re-election as governor.
Crazy, bro.
Obviously, this is going to be a situation that he's going to have to contend with politically on the campaign trail.
The Trump administration saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. Thank you for this update, Joe Khalil, live in our nation's capital. Let's bring in Minnesota State Rep Walter Hudson. Now he is a member of the State House Fraud Committee. Thank you so much for being here, Representative. We appreciate your time.
It's an absolute pleasure.
I'm going to start where Joe Khalil, our correspondent, left off. Your reaction to DHS on the ground in your great state of Minnesota, specifically in Minneapolis today.
It's about time. This is something that a lot of us here in this state have been hoping for and pleading for and trying to make the case for a very long time. And thanks to the work of a 20-year-old guy using his phone, a microphone, and social media, we finally have the focus on the broad, deep corruption happening here in the state of Minnesota, and I'm loving every second of it.
The Minnesota House Fraud Committee posted today that last year it gave DHS a list of providers that got more than $1 million in taxpayer funds. Again, that was just in 2024.
That's
facilities
crazy.
That allegedly had multiple violations. So why no action until now, Congressman?
Good question.
Well, that's just the question, right? And when you look through, if you actually watch the 42 minutes of Nick Shirley's video, the red flags are so egregious and so many that you have to ask yourself, how is it that some of these places, like the one in particular, the one that's getting all the attention, you got it on the screen there, Quality Learning Center as opposed to Learning, that facility had 95 different violations documented by DHS. So what that means is people been out there at least 95 times, or at least enough times in order to document 95 violations. So they saw the sign that has the misspelling of learning. They saw the blacked out windows. What is the benign and innocent explanation for this entity continuing to receive taxpayer dollars, which my understanding is, as of today, they still are?
They're still
Congressman,
getting
I can
paid,
pose the same question
bro.
to you, being on the fraud committee. How does it take over a year to stop that taxpayer money from going into what seems like fake daycares or other facilities paid by American tax dollars?
Well, unfortunately, here in the state of Minnesota, we have been under the reign of Minnesota Democrats for 20 plus years. There have been times where Republicans have had majorities in one chamber or the other legislatively. But as you well know, unless you have that trifecta, or at least have a governor who's willing to work diligently across party lines, then you're not going to be able to make a lot of progress, especially when you're trying to dismantle something that, in my belief, is a criminal cartel that has directly politically benefited the Democrat Party.
A criminal cartel, those are strong words. I want to go to Kelly Loeffler. She's the head of the Small Business Administration. She's threatening to withhold nearly $6 million in annual funding to your state of Minnesota. Are you concerned about the consequences, especially how it will impact those law-abiding taxpayers and citizens in your state?
Well, listen, when you have a flood in your house because your kid left the kitchen sink on and plugged up the drain, the first thing you need to do is turn off the faucet, right? And that's the type of action that's being suggested here, and it's exactly appropriate. You're not going to be able to mop up the mess if you still have the faucet running. And so whatever the consequences of that are, it's not the fault of federal regulators or administrators deciding that they're going to take action. It's the fault of the Walz administration for having allowed this mess to accumulate in the first place. And so when you have the U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson coming out and saying that we think there's $9 billion worth of fraud in the state of Minnesota, you got to shut off that faucet in order to make an assessment of where you're at and in order to fix the problem before you turn that faucet back on.
All right, that's it.
You said that Minnesota Governor Walz is responsible.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. They're still getting paid, bro. They're still getting paid. Bro, you know what? Screw it. Let's just move to Minnesota, babe. Let's just move to Minnesota. We were RBTs in the past. You know, we could just open up an ABA agency over there and start racking up millions of dollars, and we would actually do our job because we actually know what we're doing as far as therapy for autistic kids. Because clearly these people are not doing their job. That's insane. They're still getting paid millions of dollars. Wow. So the part that really dawned on me there was what he said about the Democrats. So Democrats have been running that state for 20 plus years, and look at how much fraud we have exposed in a short amount of time. So it makes you question how much fraud has been going on without being uncovered for all these years. 20 plus years is a long time. 20 plus meaning more than 2 decades. And then it also makes me think, well, if Democrats benefit from this, which is what he's insinuating, I mean, he said it directly, that they benefit from this, then we should follow the money and see if money has been funneled to campaigns for Democrats to win office. Because if that's the case, we need to have mass arrests. Mass, like in mass, literally, like I'm talking governor all the way down, trickle down. How many Democrats have been donated to by these quote unquote NGOs? How many? Like there needs to be a massive audit, which I saw a video of when Governor Walz went in his first term, they gave him tips for the audit, and he ignored it. He said he just didn't do it. And it makes you question, like, okay, either you really think that there are no bad people in your state and you think all Minnesotans are like these good saints, or you are looking away and you know exactly what's happening because you are getting a cut out of it. And I believe that's what's happening. I don't think he's that stupid to think that all Minnesotans are good people, because I don't want to believe that he's that dumb. You know, I mean, he got to governor for somehow, so I don't think he's dumb. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And he thinks he can continue getting away with it, and that's why he's running for governor again. Which I found out not too long ago that Minnesota is one of those states that there is no term limit for governorship. So he can run for governor until he dies. Okay? I'm just giving you perspective here. This is the guy that was going to be VP of the United States of America. This is the guy. Do you understand that? Like, this is so bad. This is so bad. If that man would have become the VP and Kamala Harris would have been president, bro, I'm telling you right now, we would bankrupt. America would have been bankrupt. That's it. We would have been bankrupt. China would have bailed us out. We would have been another country, bro. America would cease to exist. We would no longer. That's it. It would be over for us. Like the civil war, you know, the revolution against the British and the French, like all that would have been for nothing. All that, you know, freeing slaves, all that would be for nothing. Nothing. If Kamala Harris would have won. And that's why politics is so important. People don't realize how important politics is. We were so close to losing our country. straight up. Like people are like, oh, you're being dramatic. Am I? Look at what's going on under Governor Walz's leadership. This man was going to become the vice president of the United States. And he was allowing this much fraud. To me, this is death. I believe any person who is serving our country, who allows taxpayer money to be fraudulently used by the millions, bro, this is like death penalty type shit. This is the most egregious punishment you can do. You are literally stealing from hardworking people who bust their ass to pay taxes. Our taxes are gonna come up now. Everybody has to start paying taxes now, starting February, right? And then it ends in April 14th or something like that. Do you have any idea how shitty it feels knowing we are paying taxes for states like this and many other states to fraudulently be mismanaging our taxes? Like, how do you think that makes people like me, people like Laz, people like you who work for a living? We're literally middle class people who work for a living. And it makes me feel like, why should I pay taxes? Why should I have to be paying taxes if my money is going to terrorists, if it's going to people that have never had a stock in this country, that have never actually worked in this country, that they don't properly speak English, haven't even assimilated, don't want to assimilate, don't think they have to assimilate. And it makes me and other citizens like me say, well, fuck this, bro. I don't want to pay taxes if I have to be, if like this type of shit is happening. And that's a perfect, reasonable thought process right now. But I'm telling you right now, those who voted for Kamala Harris, you voted to destroy this country. And I'm not saying this because like you're a horrible person. I'm saying this because I want you to be aware of the lack of judgment you have. That you literally voted to destroy this country because you hate Donald Trump, because you don't like what he says, because he said in his first term, grab her by the pussy, because he says that, that immigrants are rapists and whatever the hell, because you don't like his rhetoric, because he is the first president to ever curse. You literally voted to destroy this country and bankrupt this country because of emotion towards a man that has done nothing to you personally. You just don't like the way he speaks. But I thought you believe in freedom of speech. I guess you only agree with the speech you like. But the speech you don't like, you don't think it's worth listening to, and you definitely don't think it's worth even having. Which, by the way, is authoritarianism. Like, I am fully convinced the progressive liberals are actual Marxists, and they don't actually believe in the Constitution. That's why they believe in cancel culture. They don't believe in private property. That's why we have Mamdani now as New York City mayor. We'll get to him very soon. And they don't care about this country. They don't care about this country. That's why they believe it's stolen land. And that's why they voted for Kamala Harris. Because at the end of the day, you want America to no longer exist. Thankfully, America still is alive and well. And we're going to continue fighting for it to stay alive and well and prosperous. And if you don't like it, you can leave. You can go to other countries. You don't have to stay here, but you don't get to vote to destroy this country. If you don't like the country, leave. Denounce your citizenship. It's not costly. It's actually $1,600 to denounce your citizenship, and get the fuck out. If you are not America first, you can be a Democrat and be America first. But if you're not America first and you actually don't give a shit about this country, get the fuck out. I don't care if you're an American. Leave. That's it. Plain and simple. And if you're going to stay here, you vote accordingly. That's all I got to say. Because you almost destroyed this country. By like nothing, you almost destroyed this country. All right. Where are we? What's the next link?
The Somali run daycare vandalized.
Oh man, this is hilarious. All right. This guy looks like he looks like an alien. I thought it was AI for like when I first saw it.
Good morning. My name is Nasrullah Mohammed. That is spelled NASRULAHMOH.
We don't care how your name is spelled.
I'm the manager at Nokomis Daycare Center, and today
you should probably change it. We can't pronounce that.
Yesterday.
You don't even know when it happened.
I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. The cleaner called the owner and told him what happened and the vandalism that happened. The owner called us.
I can hear myself.
And another manager came into the scene around 6 a.m. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As he came in, he broke a door from the wall from Family Dollar from the side. He couldn't, unfortunately, we don't know if that he went in or not, but we saw that it was damaged. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well.
Okay.
We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone.
Very convenient.
There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped.
Yeah, those are very valuable. They cost a lot of money.
This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community.
No idea.
One video made by a specific individual made this all happen.
Yeah, right.
We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening.
You're all gonna get denaturalized and deported out of here.
It's also sad that a video can cause all of this.
Yep, exposing your fraud.
I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and
they're all probably fraudulent.
Our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that
high quality. That's why you can't even pronounce the learning.
Made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares. How engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
Yep. As they should.
We are not a part of any harmful things that are being said.
No, you're gonna have to prove it.
We have no problem with CCAP, and our licensing has been good.
That doesn't mean shit.
I want to say no intimidation is going to stop us from what is happening and upguiding our community. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it. All right, so you know what I find very interesting about that is that why would somebody go into, that's hilarious. How much is those are the glasses he was wearing?
Yeah, those are the glasses he's wearing.
And they were
$2,200.
$2,200
can go up
glasses?
to $2,400.
Bro, I wouldn't even spend $200 on my glasses, and I desperately I need them. I actually don't know where my black glasses are, the ones that I wear to watch this. I'm literally watching to the best of my abilities because I can't see shit right now, but it's okay. Point is, my glasses are not expensive. At least to me, they're not. I would never spend over $250 on a pair of glasses, and this guy spent $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
$2,200, $2,400.
This is the part that I don't understand. He said there was a Family Dollar store nearby, right? Like right next to that daycare or whatever. Why would they break into the daycare and not the dollar store, where there's actual like valuable things you can steal from? Like that's the part that I'm just like, that don't make sense, bro. What is there to steal in a daycare? You know what?
And they happen to steal the important documents that would incriminate them.
Yeah,
specifically those
that would prove that you're a legitimate, non-fraudulent, real daycare. Interesting. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, you got caught. You're gonna continue getting caught, and I hope they get arrested very soon. The owner, him, for continuing the fraud. Because, you know, if you know that there's fraud and you're doing it and you're participating in it, yeah, you're guilty. You're as guilty as the person who started the fraud in the first place. So yeah, these people are gonna get caught eventually, because you're gonna have to prove that you are a legitimate business, and if your paperwork is, you know, got eaten by the dog, you know, like that saying, oh, my dog ate my homework. That's what that sounds like. More like you never did your homework, bro. Yeah, they're gonna get caught eventually, and it's really easy to blame Nick Shirley when if you would have just done your job and run your business correctly, then you wouldn't be in this mess. You wouldn't be worried. But the reason why you had to do this publicity stunt is because you are probably guilty of fraud and you know your time is coming. So, and I'm all for it. Let's watch the next one here. I don't know what this is. I can't see it.
Minnesota, blatant
this is
fraud is taking place within the government and the Somalian population. Right here, you see a daycare center. It says it's Creative Minds Daycare. Creative Minds Daycare was actually shut down and was reopened the next day underneath the name Super Kids. And just in the past year, in 2025, this daycare alone has received $2.45 million. It's rumored here that some of these daycares and these other businesses that are committing fraud have been rumored to be giving money back to terrorist groups in Somalia. There's a 35% chance on Polymarket right now that those people who helped defraud the government will be deported back to Somalia. But this daycare alone received over $2.45 million. So maybe if you want to become a millionaire here in the United States, you should open up a daycare center and receive government funding from a governor like Tim Walz here inside the state of Minnesota, because these people are making $2.45 million. Right now you have a BMW, Range Rover, BMW, in a van outside of this daycare center here in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
All right. That's hilarious. I think, is that the last one? Or is there one more?
No, something here on X.
Okay.
Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
This is in Ohio.
No, not that I know of. I just seen it.
This guy's doing it now in Ohio. Everybody's gonna start doing it now in their states.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio that are associated with the Somali community. As you know, Nick Shirley put out a bombshell report about all these fraudulent daycare facilities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America. So this place here is the first place we're gonna knock, and we're gonna see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see.
He's waiting for a minute there.
So, it's locked. We're ringing the doorbell here. Knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up. So we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here. Now there's somebody over there. How you doing, sir? I'm sure you see the reports over the weekend about all the daycare centers in Minnesota. We just wanted to see what was going on. Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Do you ever see any kids there?
No, because they use the back door, so I won't know if they is.
They use
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, I've never seen nobody come
Why would
in,
you use
but
the back
they
door?
use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building?
Yeah.
You're in this building too? Hey, let me ask you, have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody come out the front.
That's so weird.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all. I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
So we came to the back,
That's so
just like
sketch.
those guys suggested, and there's nothing here. you know, we can keep poking around, but
that's the
there's
back
so
of the
many
building?
of these centers to go to. We're just getting started.
Bro.
So we're gonna go around the city. We're gonna go to a few more of these places. We're gonna see if we can get anybody to talk to us. Stay tuned.
That's crazy. You know what I also started thinking to myself, listening, like watching all this stuff, and I started thinking, wait a minute, Somalis are Muslim, right? Like that's like is that like their main religion? Muslim, Islam? Okay. Don't their women not work? Isn't that like part of their culture? Women, I mean, see anybody in the comments is like responding to this, but do most Somali women not work? Because if their culture is their religion, which is Muslim, and Muslim women, for the most part, my understanding is they don't work, you know, right? They're like anti-feminists. They don't work. So they're the ones taking care of the kids, right? And the man can have like 4 wives. So I'm here trying to figure out why the hell are they taking these kids to a daycare if like there's 4 women who can take care of all these kids? Like, I'm trying to figure out like what's going on. Unless like these Somali women are feminists and they're like working, and you know, I don't know. You know, maybe they're like single Somali women, and that's the reason why their kids are in a daycare. But I don't know, man. That it just doesn't add up. You know, like Muslim women are always with a man, and they're the ones taking care of the kids. Like they don't work. So I don't know why these daycares are mainly Somali daycares. I mean, it makes sense if it's Somali, a Somali owner, but then the people in the daycare are like, you know, Latinos, whites, blacks. They actually work, but Muslim women don't really.
According to chat, like a rough estimate from Somalian women in Somalia, about 40% of them work.
Okay, not in Somalia, here.
Diaspora, sorry, is like around the world.
Okay.
Do you want like U.S. specific?
Yeah, U.S. I don't, you know, 40% in Somalia is pretty low. But then again, I don't know how many women they have there. They're probably all here. Oh man. I don't know. It doesn't add up to me. Like their culture is very like
60 to 66% of Somali women in the U.S. are part of the labor force.
Oh, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that would make sense why they would put them in a daycare. Okay, what doesn't make sense is why you don't see any kids in and out. And
yeah,
why,
that's the great mystery.
And why are there like no windows? And why are the windows all blacked out? And why don't you see a playground? Like daycares here, they have playgrounds. You see the playgrounds.
Well, the blacked out windows is actually a normal thing for daycares. They don't want people looking in. It's like a safety thing and the cameras and everything. But the fact that the children aren't seen is, yeah, it's weird.
And there's no playground.
Yeah, that's also weird.
That's also weird. Like you're supposed to see a playground.
I mean, not all of them can afford to have a playground, but obviously these can. Or the space, I'd say.
Bro, you're getting millions of dollars. You can afford a playground.
Well, there's some buildings that you can't have a playground outside.
Then you shouldn't be a daycare.
I've seen daycares that don't have playgrounds, but they have inside it. They have like, you know, all the toys and all the things, but you see kids inside of them, always, because they're daycares.
Yeah, that's weird. Like I don't know. And that daycare, the Leering Center daycare, like their hours were sketched too, from like 2 p.m. to 10. Like what parent leaves their kid at a daycare at like 9 o'clock? 10
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Like that's weird.
I think most daycares go up to like 6 latest.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
10.
That's super sketch. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. The governor, has there ever been a governor that's been arrested, like in history, in American history, like in their governorship, in their tenure? Because if not, he will be the first. Tim Walz will be the first governor arrested. Let's see. I don't know if there's ever been a governor or not. We're going to find out right now. Right now.
Yeah, actually a few apparently.
Oh, shit. Okay. Who?
It's a lot.
Apparently.
It's actually a lot.
All right. In the States?
In the States, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah,
so it's...
at least.
So it's president then. All right, cool. So, yeah, he definitely should get arrested because others have gotten arrested. A lot, apparently. I'm looking at, like, more than 20 names here.
No, not 20 names.
Oh, okay.
There's at least
it looks
8.
like a lot.
At least 8 names.
Okay, well, that's still not bad.
Yeah,
8
you don't have your glasses on. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry. Is that I just see a lot of, like, lines, so I'm assuming it's a lot of names. Okay, well, 8 names. Okay, well, he should be the 9th. He should be the 9th, and then in Ohio, whoever the governor of Ohio is, you better step up. If not, you'll be the 10th, and then, so on and so forth. But I think if there is massive fraud in your state and you are the governor, you should get arrested because it is your job to oversee what's going on in your state. And if there's fraud, then obviously you're not doing your job. Very simple stuff. All right, let's talk about Zohran Mamdani, officially the New York City mayor, the first mayor to ever get sworn with a Quran. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Not very happy about that. But hey, freedom of religion and all that.
Reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
All right, that's it.
If our...
Can you read that again for me, please? Read? Oh, you don't have the transcript right in front of you?
Hold on.
Just go to the transcript, go to 1231. Well, 1234, sorry. That's where the line is.
Where it says Marxist communist leaders?
No, the actual transcript on the video.
Oh, yeah, 1231 to 1234. What about it?
Laz, the transcript is on the video. The actual video on YouTube.
Oh.
Yes. Go to transcript. Yes, there you go. Go to 1234. See it?
Mm-mm.
Fam, what do you mean you don't see it? That's where I got it. Go to transcript.
Oh, here we go. 1234.
Uh-huh.
We replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
All right, so individualism is rugged and collectivism is warm. So I asked ChatGPT how many known leaders have praised collectivism and I guess attacked individualism, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what my thing said. Oh, I said, what famous leaders have spoken against individualism and praised collectivism? There you go. That's what I said. Karl Marx, Vladimir Lenin, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Fidel Castro, Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, Hugo Chavez, and Nicolas Maduro.
All great guys, by the way.
Amazing people, like the best, right? Them all together have probably created the biggest genocide in world history. I pray for New York City. I really do. Because this man is, put it this way, he's already doing massive executive orders, undoing everything Eric Adams did. And he already said before he was sworn in that any property owner not being good to their tenants will get their properties seized by New York City. So, yeah, which is, I believe, the second link. Let's take a look at that second link. But if I'm not mistaken, that's what it's about. Oh no, it's about police officers, but that's fine. Put it.
New York City now, where the city's new Democratic Socialist mayor So Ron Mamdani is nearing the end of day 2 in office. And so far, he has signed a slew of executive orders. He's apparently been very busy. The very first one revoked all orders issued by his predecessor, former Mayor Eric Adams, after Adams' indictment last year on federal corruption charges. There is no word yet from the mayor, however, on his plans for the NYPD. And that's one of the big questions here. Even though there are fears among scores of NYPD officers on what the future may hold under a Mamdani administration, who has not always been the most supportive of New York's finest. All you have to do is go back and look at his tweets from years ago. He doesn't like to talk about them now, but they were there. Joining us now from Morris, retired NYPD Lieutenant Commander Joe Cardinale. Joe, it's always nice to see you. Happy New Year to you. What is the feeling within the NYPD now that he is officially in office? Because I know that it seemed like there was some relief that he kept the same commissioner, but are people uneasy?
Oh, they're very uneasy. I mean, you can't change your rhetoric overnight for the men and women in the NYPD, or for a lot of us that see him for what he really is. I mean, you don't go from hating cops to all of a sudden loving cops because you ran for mayor and you won mayor. All right, he's trying to appease everybody by, keeping Commissioner Tisch, because he knows that's the link he needs to, between his office and the commissioner's office to keep the NYPD going at a rate that is acceptable for him. But make no mistake about it, Brian, there are a lot of people that are looking to retire. I mean, you saw that there were uniforms found just discarded in the street, and they sent them, the police over to retrieve them and everything. This is a message from the rank and file that, they're just not going to sit back and take it anymore. You have a lot of people that are retiring. You have people that you need to pass on their knowledge, and the detective bureau all over the NYPD that you need them there, and you just won't have that experience. So that gives this mayor the ability to change it into the Stepford Police Department that he wants.
Do you think Commissioner Tisch would let that happen, though? And you mentioned it, in a way, it's like he needs her right now. Does he kind of have to keep her happy? And would that sort of keep things status quo?
Well, you have to remember the police commissioner serves at the discretion of the mayor.
Right.
All right. And she's going to have to, we had a commissioner say, well, that was a great commission and wouldn't, kowtow to the previous mayor, Adams, and she resigned. And I'm sure Tisch would do the same thing if it was to the extent that she thinks it's going to put her name in jeopardy as well. And, this isn't something that's just going to stay here in the city, Brian. This is working its way all the way up to Albany, all the way up to Albany North and all the way out to Long Island with this socialism, all right? And people have to be aware that it's not going to be just the police department that's affected by this radical change. It's going to be the entire state. And Hochul's on board with it, and so are politicians out on Long Island, and they're going to squeeze everything to fit this agenda to make radical moves all over the state. And people better open their eyes and realize what's at stake next election.
NYPD has actually seen violent crimes go down. Tisch posted on X Christmas Eve that New York City has recorded 1,000 fewer shooting victims so far this year than in 2021, and 235 fewer than last year. So you'd hope that the mayor would see this and think, let's just stay on the same path, right?
You would hope so, but I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, not because of his previous rhetoric. You just don't change that rhetoric overnight. He ran on that to get elected to the assembly in New York, and now all of a sudden to become mayor, he's changing his tone. You don't change your tone to be an anti-Semitic. You don't change your tone to be an anti-police, person. You just don't change that overnight. You do it because you want the vote. You do it to become mayor, which he did. Now let's see what happens. Everybody better be careful about watching every little move he makes. I stated it before on another show, and I said this man is going to do things in small increments that he hopes people won't notice. He's got a smart team behind him that'll push this agenda. But we have to watch every move he makes, because every little move he makes is going to be the future of New York City.
Yep. Have you heard anything we should especially be watching for when it comes to NYPD? Is there a certain area you think he's going to try to secretly defund, or what should we keep an eye out for?
I think he's going to try to take some of the power of the police officers out in the street. Remember, the police officers do not have qualified indemnification. The city council made sure they took care of that. This is a problem for keeping and retaining seasoned officers. It's a problem for recruiting, because nobody wants to put their butt on the line for something that they're trained to do, but yet somebody else deems improper. All right. So
That's
at
crazy,
one time
bro.
when you had the qualified indemnification, if I did my job according to the way I was taught, and I did it all the way across the board, and everything was great, then they would back me up and go to court and back me up in court. They don't have that any longer. It's like having a
That's so
surgeon
sad.
operate on you without malpractice insurance. It just doesn't make sense. And this is why you're not getting the qualified officers you need across the board, and you're not retaining the qualified officers and detectives that are there now.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
Cuomo, you're very intense, Cuomo. But I appreciate the intensity. All right, am I back? Yeah. All right, cool. So before we get to the last story, I spoke about this on a short I did that. Well, I mean, it's easy. We can just show it. Can you go on our channel really quick and go to shorts?
Oh, our channel?
Yeah, our YouTube channel. Go to shorts. It should be the last one. Mamdani is the new Fidel Castro. I think it's the last one. Okay, cool.
Quality's kind of ass.
It's okay. You know why history repeats itself? Because we don't learn. In Cuba, Fidel Castro took over not only because Cubans believed, but because he had very powerful influences in America who happened to be liberal elites who thought it was a bright idea to endorse socialism in Cuba. When Mamdani said that they're going to replace individualism with collectivism, it gave me such a bad reaction because that is exactly the type of language Fidel Castro used. All right, that's it. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, guys. Mary_Truths, TikTok, and X. So, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Everybody who's watching, I appreciate you for tuning in and joining me on our first 2026 video 66. So, this is what I'm predicting is going to happen. Donald Trump played nice when he went to go visit Donald Trump, as he is supposed to do. You play nice, you see where he's at, and when it comes to the cameras, you tell the press, I'm very excited for New York City. He's going to be a great mayor, very cordial, as I thought was the best move to do. I gave my thoughts on that. Now, when he starts actually making moves, Donald Trump is going to actually start talking shit, because it wouldn't be Donald Trump if he wasn't talking shit. So when he starts, seizing private property because tenants aren't doing their job. First of all, I don't even think that's constitutional or legal. If a landlord is not doing their job and treating tenants correctly, it is not the job of the governor to force the landlord to treat their tenants correctly, because there is something called private property rights in this country. And when you are a socialist communist, you don't believe in private property, because you believe everything should be public. Everything should be owned by everybody. Everybody should own everything, when all that does is remove quality, and it removes people that actually have the funds to fund everything to leave. So he's gonna seize private property. That's gonna be a problem on a lawsuit level. I'm expecting him to get sued. That's one. He's going to get attacked by the president, because once he starts to defund, things that, the police, and crime goes up, well, they're going to probably defund the state, which essentially will defund the city. And then ICE will end up going to New York City, because, well, if you're going to remove the police officers, well, he's not going to allow New York City to completely like get destroyed and become Gotham City. He's going to put ICE in there and Border Patrol agents too. And probably also National Guard. He's going to throw everybody in there if this guy defunds the police, and police officers are already like anticipating he's going to probably do that. So I pray for New York City. People that have the funds are already leaving. So we know because they're coming to Miami, they're going to West Palm Beach, they're going to Cape Coral, they're going to Tampa, they're going to Jacksonville, they're coming to Florida, they're going to Texas, they're going to Tennessee. People who have money, I'm not even talking about like wealthy people. Like I'm talking about upper class, middle class people who have the funds to leave and go on a one-way U-Haul to Florida are doing so right now. Because they already see the writing on the walls. And those who are going to stay are those who are asking for the free shit. So when taxes go up, because he claims he's going to talk to Kathy Hochul, the governor, and they're going to raise taxes. If taxes go up, which they probably will, because, how else are they going to push the narrative and the agenda if they don't raise taxes? They're going to get people with money to leave the state. People with real money. The ones paying for over 50% of the taxes, yeah, those people are going to leave. And what's that going to do? Everybody who could not leave or couldn't afford to leave or just didn't want to leave because they believed in the BS are going to be the ones to have to bear the high taxes. And that's what happened in Chicago. What's going on in Chicago is what's going to go. It's what's going to happen in New York City, but on a bigger scale because New York City is a bigger city. What's going on in California? They want to create a tax for unrealized gains, and the billionaires there in Silicon Valley are now telling the Senator Rocana, yeah, we're going to primary you. Because we put you in that position and now you're going to support a policy to literally tax us? No. So what I'm noticing is that there are certain liberal elites who are noticing the writing on the walls and they're realizing, yeah, I shouldn't be supporting socialist policies because they end up screwing me over in the process. In Cuba, before Fidel Castro, we had a lot of liberal elites in Cuba. I mean, mind you, keep in mind that in the 1930s, when prohibition was happening here in the States, everybody who had money was going to Cuba because that's where, rum was there. All types of drugs were there. Mind you, it was like Miami, Hollywood, Las Vegas, and New York City in one island. So everybody was having a good old time. You had gambling there, you had the whole 9 yards. You had a lot of mafia there too, of course. And of course, as things progressed and then, we legalized alcohol here and then illegalized marijuana, funny enough. As things started to get better for America, Cuba was making a lot of money. Cuba was making millions of dollars off of sugar, tobacco, and rum. It got to a point that Cuba was making so much money. Cuba was literally the country that was known for radio first. Before America, it was Cuba. Cuba was also the first country on the Western Hemisphere who allowed women to vote. Before America did, Cuba already was allowing women to vote. So Cuba, compared to America, was progressing significantly faster than America was. Okay? Again, this is before Fidel Castro, way before Fidel Castro. It came to a point when we had the Rothschilds and Rockefellers here and all those other elites that owned monopolies in America. It came to a point where they no longer approved of the regime in Cuba, which was currently at the time Batista. and they were agreeing to a different type of regime, which was the regime that Fidel Castro was promoting, which was socialism at that time. He was saying that he was a socialist and that he believed that, you know, the Cuban people were being exploited by the Americans and that imperialism is evil, you know, the whole 9 yards, what every communist says to get people to believe their BS. And elites that were liberal were agreeing to Fidel Castro taking over Cuba. A lot of people believe that it was CIA. CIA was way after that. When Fidel Castro started the takeover, started the campaigning, not the takeover, the campaigning of Cuba, before, even, I'm not even talking about when he actually took it over. I'm talking about when he started actually campaigning and getting, you know, the rebels involved in the campaign all across the island. He was already getting influence from America, from these powerful elites, to continue doing what he was doing in Cuba. He wasn't just motivated because, you know, farmers and, you know, regular Cubans were believing his BS. He was getting motivated mainly because people in America with a lot of money and influence were telling him, yeah, what you're doing is good, keep doing it. You're on the right track, keep doing it. So right now, we're at a turning point where the current liberal elites now, there's a divide. There's liberal elites that agree with some liberal policies, but they do not agree with this socialism aspect of it. Because they know that if they do agree with it, they're going to get taxed to oblivion. And then there's the other elites who are completely all in, and those are considered the progressives, the true believers of Marxism. I personally think right now, the next election is going to be capitalism versus socialism. Freedom versus control. That's what it's going to be about. This last election was, do you want America to continue to exist, or do you want America to be taken over by a third party? And we voted for America to continue existing. Now it's going to be, do you want America to prosper and actually start making money again, like how it was when it began? Or do you want America to, you know, literally lose all its money and become a socialist country like Europe, like Canada, like Mexico? I think this is what it's going to come down to. Obviously, I'm on the side of freedom and capitalism. My parents came from Cuba where they literally had nothing. So I'm biased, but I know what socialism actually does to a country. And socialism is soft communism. Socialism is the slow death to genocide. Because socialism, all it is the idea that everybody deserves everything and we all should pitch in. But guess what? Not everybody deserves everything, because you don't deserve anything. You have to work for it. And that's what socialism doesn't understand. So anybody who subscribes to that mentality refuses to work for anything, and they think they should get everything because they exist. And that's enough. But when you come from a country that has that already in place, you know it doesn't work. You know it doesn't work. So let's see what happens in New York City. I have a feeling it's going to be like Chicago, but much worse. But hey, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. You let me know what you think in the comments. Let's go on to the last one here. Somali woman caught saying Elon Musk is going to die. She went viral. She didn't think that was going to happen.
And people say like this is fake. I'm like, actually, well, let's look at.
كان هو هيستع العقب بس هو هيستع بدو فول حميه بس كفول حميه كان وأتوقع دم الربع I wouldn't worry too much about
their language is really ugly.
This one that
I'm sure that sounds really racist, but
I wouldn't worry too much about him. He about to die.
I wouldn't worry about him. He about to die. Okay. I love it how she goes from like Somali language to like kind of like a black accent going on there. All right. Let's go to the next one here. This is her after she went viral, and then Elon Musk like responded to her saying this is war. I'm ready.
If you told me a week
Look at her response. Look at her. All of a sudden she's a saint. Oh my god.
If you told me a week ago that my name and Elon Musk's name are being voiced in the same breath,
oh my
I
god,
wouldn't believe you. But here I am.
It's a whole
today.
different person.
Hello, if you know who I am, do you know why this video has to be made? On December.
She's reading, by the way. You can tell she's reading.
My life took a tragic turn. I was badly misinterpreted and misheard on a now viral clip. In this clip, my words and what they are being translated to has been taken greatly out of context.
Greatly
I
out of
want to make
context.
myself clear. I never intended or even aimed to threaten the life of Elon Musk. I'm not a person that carries around hate. The media and Elon have taken my words completely out of context, and it's been deeply hurtful to watch how
so hurtful.
that's turned into me being dehumanized and
Oh
painted
my
as a
god.
villain. For context, the clip going viral was taken from a longer live segment and edited in a way that removes the heart of what I was trying to say. During that stream, some of my supporters asked me about my thoughts on Elon Musk in relation to his health after viral photos of him in swim shorts surfaced. My intention was to never mock, insult, or be cruel in any way. What I was trying to express came from my personal experience. As a person gets older, health becomes more important, and it is something we should all be taking seriously and treat with care. My message was meant to encourage kindness towards our bodies and towards one another if we want to live a long, luxurious life. Instead, that message was twisted, stripped of its context, and turned into something it was never meant to be. A few people went ahead and asked Elon's AI Grok what it thought about my language in the video. I would display the response here. As you can see, Grok agrees. This is more interpreted as dismissive rather than a literal threat. Elon Musk tweeted the same viral video twice. I assume the first time didn't get the reaction he wanted, both hours apart. One where he said, and I quote, "wonderful people," and the most recent time that is currently still pinned at the top of his profile stating, and I quote, "then it is war." While Somali hate is at an all-time high right now, Elon is a very powerful man and has an endless amount of supporters. This will forever be a losing match for me. Elon Musk is coming at me with full force, but I don't remember when I signed up to be an scapegoat, but okay. This tweet has caused me great discomfort. My intentions were to never make Elon Musk uncomfortable or feel unsafe in any way. I don't know how a billionaire can be scared of a little girl who doesn't have half the power, but...
How old are you anyway?
My words...
Why are you on Instagram? Why are you on social media if you're a little girl?
Stolen. Me and Elon Musk's lives are worlds apart. I do not have nearly the same amount of resources he is fortunate enough to have. This whole
Clearly you do with your fraudulent takecares.
Private information about is being displayed all over the internet, and I have received endless amount of threats.
Oh my god, you were like, I can't continue listening to this bitch. I can't. Bro, listen. This is my message to Somalis, all right? Shut up, okay? Like, right now, the spotlight is on you. So listen, be a good civilian, be a good Samaritan, be a good citizen, and zip it. Don't be on social media being like, yeah, I got all this money, y'all working too hard, or we the best, we the greatest, y'all hating on us, like, Elon Musk gonna die, like, no. Shh. Shut up, okay? You're making it worse for yourself, you're making it worse for your whole community, because at the end of the day, when a couple bad apples are rotten, we're going to be like, yeah, all of them are rotten. We're going to throw them all away, okay? So that's just how we are. That's how we are as human beings. Unfortunately, that is how it is. As a Cuban, I'm aware that when there's a bunch of Cubans that are ratchet as hell, other Hispanics, when you say, I'm Cuban, they're like, ugh. It's happened to me countless of times because why? There's a bunch of Cubans that gave us a bad name. So now when I say I'm Cuban and I'm talking to somebody who's, I don't know, Mexican, they're going to automatically assume, oh, esta es rachetera or she's whatever. Rachetera means ratchet. So it's just how it is. It's just how we are programmed. When there's bad people in a community, we're all going to just think generically, all of y'all bad. So because that's just how it is, shut up. Don't talk. Okay? You'll look prettier if you don't. That's my advice to you. All right, guys. This is the end of the show. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. I love your support. Subscribe, like, and share. Be a truth seeker, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.